Hi, my name is Mike Richmond, and I am the Program Chair for Data Science at Woz U. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in the data science game for about 23 years. I spent most of that working at semiconductor manufacturers, about 21 years of those 23 years. And in the meantime, I've been working here at Woz U for about a year. We put together a data science program to help students who are interested in data science to move into that field. This is a good time to talk about what a data scientist does. A data scientist is a lot of things. I've called myself a data scientist for, like I say, about 23 years, but in reality, I didn't use that term for the first 15 years because it really didn't even exist. About 10 years ago, a couple guys came up with the idea of data scientists as people who have good ability to do data analysis and good programming skills also. So that's what we're trying to do here, because a good data scientist is good at both of those things, at analytical skills, statistics, and also programming. So that leads into the sorts of jobs and sorts of activities that a data scientist does in their everyday job. Data scientists are involved with things like data visualization, developing metrics, tracking metrics, developing methods to control processes based on metrics. We talk a lot about machine learning, talk a lot about modeling. There are also some things we do with data wrangling, visualization, and also a new term that's come up lately is big data. Big data is a big part of big science. Big data is a big part of data science these days. You might have heard phrases like artificial intelligence or neural networks. Those are also parts of data science. In the end, a data scientist is trying to take information that's available in the form of data that a business has and make that information a part of the decision-making process. You know, a funny thing happened about 30 years ago. Data went from being very difficult to collect and quite expensive to collect and store to being easy to collect and easy to store. So most companies, they started collecting a lot of data without really any idea of why they were going to collect it or what they were going to do with it once it was collected. Fast forward about 20 years, and all of a sudden, a lot of businesses are sitting on huge piles of data, and they realize there must be some really good information in there somewhere. There must be an opportunity to make good business decisions based on those data, but they didn't know how to do it, and they didn't know what sort of skills somebody needed to fulfill that role. Well, that's where the data scientist comes in. A data scientist has skills in analytics, and that's usually in the form of statistical analysis. A data scientist also has some good programming skills. Data scientists need to have good business acumen, and that's the sort of thing that we really can't teach at a boot camp. Business acumen is something you actually have to gain once you've started working for a company and are fulfilling the role as a data scientist. It's a critical part, but it's something you have to gain on the job. Another area that is important for a data scientist to have skill in is just good communication skills, being able to convey ideas. You know, you might have met in your life people who are really smart, but they're very difficult to talk to because they just can't communicate good ideas from one person to another. It's really critical that a data scientist has the ability to convey ideas without talking down to people, but in a way that helps them to understand what's going on analytically. So a lot of people wonder, are there any jobs in data science? And the answer is a resounding yes, there are. If you look in job boards in LinkedIn or on monster.com, there are lots and lots of jobs in several categories. Data scientist obviously is one of them. You might see it spoken of as a data analyst, maybe a business intelligence analyst, sometimes even finance analyst or data engineer. But the truth of the matter is that jobs in data analysis are growing, and they're growing faster than the supply is growing. So the demand keeps increasing even though the supply is increasing. It used to be that data scientists were pretty much limited to tech companies, large companies that had lots and lots of resources to go through their data and try and figure out what's going on. That's not true anymore. More and more lately, smaller companies, retail companies, just mom and pop establishments have come to realize that they've got a lot of data and they really don't know how to find the gems in their pile of data. And that's where the data scientist comes in. Here at Woz U, we're trying to fill in a couple of gaps that I had when I was going to school. For instance, when I was in school, it was quite common that we would be spoon-fed a really clean, pristine set of data and asked to perform a certain analysis on those data. When I hit the real world, when I got out of school and started working, it became very clear to me that that was more the exception than the rule. Almost always, when I have data I need to analyze, the data set is big and it's messy, and a lot of it might not even be very accurate. You have to develop a lot of skill to do what we call data wrangling. So it's not only manipulating data and changing the formatting and the shape of the data table you're working with, but it's also the ability to look through the data and see what may or may not be real data, what is obviously bogus data, and the techniques to deal with those situations, to maybe decide what to throw out or what to keep or what to change. So that's a big part of data science, is wrangling data. Another big part of data science, which again I never learned in school, but it's become very clear as I've worked on the job, is data are typically stored in databases or cubes or flat files, or just they're all over the place. It might just be on somebody's spreadsheet on their PC, or it might, worst case scenario, it might be scribbled down on a tablet on somebody's desk. Well, everything except the tablet is a situation where you have to figure out how to electronically extract the data from the databases they're in. And quite often, you'll have to take multiple sources of data and join those together. So learning how to do extractions in SQL and other tools that are used to extract data is really a big part of data science. It's not very often somebody just hands me a data set. I usually have to go and figure out where it is and figure out how to get it out and figure out how to get them to talk together. So that's one of the things we cover here at Woz U a little bit, to kind of get you into the mode of having the responsibility of doing that. There are a couple of programming languages that we use here. As I said before, programming is a big part of data science. And two of the probably most popular, most commonly requested skill sets that there are out in the marketplace these days are being able to program in R and also in Python. And R and Python are pretty similar. They do a lot of the same things. Python is more of a general purpose programming type of a language, whereas R was developed by a couple of men who wanted to do a lot of heavy duty, big data set data analyses, and it's just a program that they developed to be able to accomplish those tasks. These are both open source tools, which is why we teach them here at Woz U. If you look at job requisitions, job openings that are posted on job boards or wherever you might find those posted, I would say right now about 80% of the jobs that are available in the data sciences, being data scientist, data analyst, business analyst, or whatnot, are requesting that you have skills in either R or Python or both. So those are the tools we use. Those are the software tools and analytical tools we're using here at Woz U. There are a lot of people who work as data scientists that will use something else, something that's usually a licensed package, and they'll use that in their business. And that's okay, because a lot of these programs are very similar to one another. And what we're doing here is we're helping you to develop the skills to be able to leverage your knowledge and your abilities into whatever programming languages or software tools or anything else that somebody might be using when you eventually get the job that you want in data sciences. So in a nutshell, that's what the data science program is like here at Woz U. We would love to tell you more about it. If you want to contact us either through email or by calling one of our reps, we would be happy to show you more about the program and help you develop an interest in what we're doing as far as data science goes.